Aqua Earth Explorer!
Beneath the surface of the Red Sea, in the waters off Egypt's Sinai Peninsula, lies one of the greatest wreck dives on Earth. A ship frozen in time, sealed by war, and packed with cargo that tells a story of soldiers, sacrifice, and survival. This is the SS Thistlegorm, part underwater museum, part war grave, and for divers, a journey into living history. The Thistlegorm was no ordinary cargo ship. Built in 1940 in Sunderland, England, she was part of the Merchant Navy fleet, civilian vessels armed and pressed into military service during World War II. Her name means blue thistle in Gaelic, a nod to Scotland. On her fourth voyage, she was loaded with supplies critical to the Allied campaign in North Africa. The list reads like a wartime catalog. Bedford trucks, BSA and Norton motorcycles, spare wings for aircraft, crates of Lee Enfield rifles, anti-tank mines, radios, boots, boxes of ammunition, even medical supplies. In total, thousands of tons of equipment designed to keep the British 8th Army fighting against Rommel's forces in the desert. It wasn't just cargo, it was survival. But moving this precious cargo wasn't easy. In June 1941, the Thistlegorm set sail from Glasgow, traveled around Africa, then up the Red Sea toward the Suez Canal. The Mediterranean was too dangerous with German U-boats, so convoys made the long, grueling detour around the Cape of Good Hope. By September, the Thistlegorm and her convoy reached the Gulf of Suez, but delays at the canal forced her to anchor in the sheltered waters of Sha'ab Ali, waiting for clearance. That pause would prove fatal. On the night of October 6, 1941, two Heinkel He-111 bombers flying out of German-occupied Crete were searching for Allied vessels. They spotted the Thistlegorm at anchor. Around 1:30 in the morning, two bombs slammed into Hold 4, where ammunition was stored. The explosion ripped through the ship, setting off secondary blasts as shells, grenades, and fuel went up in flames. Eyewitnesses described a fireball lighting the night sky. The shockwave rattled nearby ships. Within minutes, the Thistlegorm broke apart and sank, her stern settling upright on the seabed, her bow twisted and shattered. Of the 41 crew on board, 9 men were killed instantly. The rest were rescued by nearby ships. For years, the wreck lay hidden, her location unknown. Then, in the early 1950s, a French explorer by the name of Jacques Cousteau happened upon her while charting the Red Sea. Using basic scuba gear and his now famous Calypso crew, Cousteau explored the wreck, even retrieving the ship's bell. He mentioned the discovery in a National Geographic article, but, perhaps fearing looting or military interest, never revealed the exact coordinates. The Thistlegorm sank back into obscurity. It wasn't until the 1990s that the wreck was rediscovered by dive operators based in Sharm el-Sheikh. Once word spread, it became a pilgrimage site for divers worldwide. Today, it's one of the most visited wrecks on the planet. So what makes this dive so special? Dropping down the mooring line, the first glimpse is unforgettable. At about 30 meters, the outline of the wreck emerges from the blue, vast, looming, ghostly. The stern is largely intact, complete with an anti-aircraft gun still mounted, its barrel now draped in soft coral. Giant trevally and barracuda patrol the edges. Venture inside, and you're stepping into history's storeroom. The cargo holds are the heart of the dive. In Hold 2, rows of motorcycles line the floor, some still with their tires, headlights, and speedometers intact. In Hold 1, trucks are stacked bumper to bumper, their dashboards encrusted in coral, fish darting in and out through open windows. You can still see steering wheels, spare tires, and toolboxes frozen in place since 1941. Rifles lie in crates. Pairs of leather boots rest in corners, covered in silt. Gas masks, lanterns, and khaki uniforms are scattered about, artifacts of soldiers who never received them. Outside the wreck, 2 massive steam locomotives, blown off the deck during the explosion, rest on the sand like forgotten sentinels. They're surreal, as if some invisible train line once ran across the seafloor. Everywhere you look, life has moved in. Soft corals drape over gun turrets. Giant groupers lurk in the shadows. Schools of snappers swirl in silver clouds above the deck. It's a strange mix, nature and history, decay and rebirth. But diving the Thistlegorm isn't without challenges. Currents in the northern Red Sea can be fierce, sometimes ripping across the wreck. Penetrating the holds requires proper training, good buoyancy, and awareness. It's easy to stir up silt and lose visibility. For many divers, a guide is essential, but those who prepare for it describe the dive as unforgettable, almost spiritual. The Thistlegorm isn't just another wreck. It's a war grave. 9 sailors and gunners remain tied to her story. Divers are reminded to move respectfully, to treat the site as a memorial as much as an adventure. It's this balance between excitement and reverence that makes the dive so powerful. Today, the wreck faces new challenges. With thousands of divers visiting each year, concerns about preservation are growing. Mooring lines cut into the steel. Fins brush against artifacts. Climate change warms the Red Sea, affecting the corals that now cover the ship. Organizations are working to protect the site, but its popularity means the Thistlegorm is as vulnerable now as it was in 1941. And yet, her story endures. The Thistlegorm tells us about a global war that reached even into these remote waters. She reminds us how fragile supply lines were, how quickly fate could change. And for divers, she offers something rare, the chance to swim not just through history, but inside it. If you're a wreck diver, this is one destination you have to experience at least once in your life. To descend into her holds is to step back into 1941, to see the past preserved in rust and coral. And if you want more legendary dive stories, don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment about your dream wreck dive, and join us for the next underwater adventure. Because the ocean isn't just water, it's history, mystery, and discovery, waiting to be explored.
Thanks for diving in with me today. If you enjoyed this adventure, hit subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss the next one.